Hey everybody, it's Whiskey here, and I've got a video today on the Sarco. This is gameplay on Path of Titans on the Arazoa server, and Sarco is one of my favorite playables. It's a oldie but a goodie. It's been around forever, underwent a lot of changes throughout the years, but it's always been one of my favorites to play. I love the ambush play style, so you get that out of the Sarco. And I was playing the Dino a lot because it used to be just such a beast. It was so much fun, but they've relegated it to salt water now here on Arazoa, so it's not as fun anymore. There's not a lot of reasons for dinosaurs to come to salt water. It's not like they have to get drinks out of salt water, so it really reduces the ambush potential of the Dino. So it can still be fun. You can play with a partner in saltwater, and there's some areas like around Savannah and things like that where you can get some ambush opportunities. But even then, they're really few and far between. Most players are smart enough to know where to cross. There's like some really narrow river crossings that you can just get across real quickly. And even if the Dino does get you, lunge is pretty much useless now. They can still swim to the shore and run away before you're able to really kill them. But there is a use for the Dino. It's just a much slower gameplay now. Your kills are going to be a lot much more few and far between, like I said. So the Sarco though is a lot of fun. You can still play that in freshwater. You can pair up with somebody. You can hang out with other Sarcos. You don't have to territory challenge them on Arazoa, so you can all hang out in a river together, and you can communally feed on kills as well. But one of the things that Arazoa recently did to the Sarco was they increased the combat weight of dinosaurs that you can actually clamp with your clamp ability. So you can actually clamp mapes now, and some of the bigger dinosaurs. So it's kind of cool. You can get aloes and mapes. A lot of them don't expect it, but you can clamp them, take them out into the river, and kill them. So there was a packy clamp. It was a cool ambush because sometimes I'll do that. I'll sit up in the bushes around the shoreline, and everybody that's coming to drink is usually very focused on the water. So you can actually get an ambush from behind, like you saw me do there. But it's got a similar play style to the Rex. You lie in wait and ambush a lot of the time. But they're a really fast swimmer too. They're very good at fighting in the water against the other aquatics like Spinos and Sucos and stuff. You're pretty much faster than anything, especially with your tail lunge if you're using the speed variant Sarco with the speed subspecies and the speed hide. You're pretty much faster than everything. I think a full speed setup Suco might be able to keep up with you, but not if you have the tail lunge on. You'll be faster. And the speed setup Suco isn't going to have the bleed claws either, so it's a lot less dangerous. So here's a clamp on the mape. And they're pretty much donezo at this point. There's nothing they're going to be able to do. They can't swim very well. You just take them out to the middle, take them to the bottom, get them their oxygen draining, their stam draining, and they're sitting duck at this point. Just like that. Super simple and easy. But it's a lot of fun to do those ambushes. And the Sarco's also not too slow on the land either. It's actually halfway decent. You can trot pretty decently on the land. It does run out of stamina really fast on the land, so you've got to be careful about that. Don't get too far from the water. Should be a pretty obvious thing, but sometimes people get way too far from the water, and if you run out of stamina out of water, you're pretty vulnerable. Most apexes like Rexes and Tyranno Titans and Gigas and stuff will kill you pretty easily on the land. You are surprisingly tough though. If you put the armor subspecies on and use the anti-bleed hide, it's pretty tough on land too. But still, stamina is, if you run out of stamina, you're going to be in deep trouble. So Um, that's a big weakness of the Sarco, but um, that's kind of obvious, you know. Um, Even that said, it's still actually surprisingly a good fighter against most things, even on land if you do it right. This was a little fight I got into with a pack of conchs, and this was at the big pond in Savannah, and this is before they put the big rock over it. In Arizona, they placed a big rock over top of it, so they're trying to create. Savannah's become a pretty major hotspot, so they're trying to eliminate that. That'll work, but it's going to be a band-aid really, because all it's really going to do is shift the players back over to Grand Plains, which was the old hotspot. So they're just making Arazoa back to the way it was, where Grand Plains is the hotspot, you know. And you'll see some people in Savannah from time to time in some other areas, but nothing's really going to spread the players out consistently or long term. Other than a rule change, there's got to be it's got to be some kind of a mandatory biome, or adjust the third party rule so that people can only third party under certain circumstances. Like if you're, you know, really hungry, like maybe you've only got 20% food in your stomach and you're in your preferred biome, um, and you're hunting a creature that's outside their preferred biome or something like that. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, but I know for sure there's got to be a biome restriction rule or a third party restriction rule, because as it is right now, you know, you're working against human nature to start with. Everybody, when they get on the game, they want to go play with other players. So you're going to search out other players. You're going to get bored walking around not seeing anything, and so you're going to want to go where the players are. And so the first thing you're going to check, obviously, is the hot spots. And then that is going to create players in that spot, and that's going to attract more players. And then you've got all the players that like to third party. There's a huge amount of the player base that is not looking for a fair fight. They just want to kill something easily. And then there's the players that are starving and they need to kill something easily because they're tired of eating salt rock or whatever. And so they're going to go to the hotspot where they know they can find a fight and then third party the fight. That's just the way it's always going to be with third party rule without any biome restrictions, I think. That's just my opinion, but I think that's what they're going to need to do to fix the hot spots. I don't think putting a rock over the pond is going to really solve much. It's just going to, like I said, it's just going to shift the players to a different hot spot. But there's still going to be hot spot problems, and it's just going to be in a green area instead of a orange area, you know. But anyway, this was the conch fight. These fights are pretty cool. When you get a big pack of stuff trying to fight an apex, it seems to be a common occurrence, and that's usually the most fun fights that I have too, because they kind of tend to last a long time and they're challenging. It's a matter of one of these little guys messing up and getting too low, and then trying to re-engage after they're low, because they don't realize how hard, you know, an apex hits sometimes. Conch's also one of my favorites to play. They're a low tier, so they're pretty squishy, but when you get a pack of them, they can get in and out like this, and they can sit down to get stamina and heal up a little bit and come back into the fight while their other partner is, you know, keeping you busy. And they're usually really long fights, and you have to be patient, but you can kill a lot of things. You can kill a lot of apexes with a conch, actually, surprisingly. But they're semi-aquatic as well, so they're a fun little dinosaur. One of my favorites to play when I have a group of friends around. So this was a good challenging fight. Obviously, I'm playing the Titan mostly these days, and I'll hop on the Rex from time to time. But I do like to have a change of pace and hop on the Sarco, and it's a fun semi-aquatic to play. Probably my favorite semi-aquatic right now. Some of the best places to ambush are this pond when it's available. Also, obviously, Grand Plains River down by that sandbar, and then you can get a lot of things in the Big Quill, like Green Hills River too, because people don't tend to expect a Sarco there. So that's a good little ambush spot. And Snake Gully can be pretty good because of the waystone. A lot of time there's people getting waystone in that need water really bad, and they'll rush down to the river to get water. I don't find that Hunter's Thicket Lake very good, just because you'll get the occasional player getting like lakeweed or something like that, but for the most part people avoid that lake. I don't really know why that's not a more popular place in Arazoa, because it's so cool. It's a cool area, cool looking area, and it's a nice big lake, but for whatever reason people don't go there too much. And same with Big Quill Lake, nobody really visits that all that often, not often enough to make it a good ambushing spot anyway. Now I could clamp these guys, but the problem with clamp on the concavenators is that the clamp doesn't do any damage. It just takes them into the water, and then it'll lower your stamina, and then they can typically just swim away. So if it's a big body of water, you're gonna be a faster swimmer than them. You might be able to make it work, but usually just the regular bite's better. This is sometimes the hotspots can be cool because you can have a good fight going on while there's another fight, like these two gigas fighting a Zapata right next to me. So there's a lot of action going on in one area at the same time, so it can be pretty exciting. Sarco is one of those apexes that just got a really good combination of speed, stealth, damage, and health. It's a really good setup of all those things. Obviously when you're in water. When you're on land, not so much, but in water you've got all those things to your advantage. You're still faster than the bigger stuff like the Spinos and the Dinos, and you still got a really powerful bite with the charge bite, and you're quick and nimble and fast. So you can dodge a lot of stuff, you're faster than a lot of stuff. You can catch a lot of things that are smaller especially with your lunge tail, and you do massive damage. So it's a really great dinosaur to play. If you're not in a body of water where there's a lot of action, and there's not a lot of stuff coming by, it can get really boring, just like on the Rex where you're just sitting around for a long time with not much to do. And if you expose yourself on land, then it's just going to deter a lot of people from coming to that water. So you do have to kind of hide a lot down into the water to make it work right. You can see these guys are very, very timid now. They're not attacking as frequently as they were before. Anytime I charge up a bite, they're all scattering out of the water, so I know they're all low. It's just a matter of getting probably 1 or 2 bites on them and they're dead, so I'm just waiting for one of them to screw up here. And so this guy's coming in behind me, he thinks I'm looking the other way, and he gets in a little too deep, and 2 bites and he's done. So that's the video, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you have any questions, leave them there, and let me know what you guys like to use on the Sarco, what setup you like to use, what build, and give me a like if you like the video, and I hope to see you out there in Gondua. Goodbye.